Hello and welcome to another edition of the Dinocast. I'm here with Adam.
Hey!
I'm here with Jason.
Happy New Year!
I'm Shaun, and we're going to be looking at the upcoming month's Game of Gold, last month's Game of Gold, anything else we've been playing, and anything else we fancy talking about until we hit that sweet spot of about 2 hours, whatever it's going to be this time, and then we're all going to say goodbye really quickly because we don't know how to end these things. Yay. So, without any further ado, the first Game with Gold this month, Jason, is...
NeuroVoider.
Ooh.
Do you know about it? I'll tell you about it. It's a twin-stick shooter RPG where you play as a brain with an upgradable body. You battle through levels, you fight hordes of robots with a variety of weapons. It's single player, it's co-op for up to 4 players. There you go. What more do you want to know? It's a game. Yay! Love it. I have a, I was going to say full disclosure. That's a bit rude. I have a disclaimer. When I first saw this month's games, I thought, oh. But I have actually played 2 minutes of 2 of them, and I'm a bit more excited than I was now. And this is one which isn't awful in the first 2 minutes. But I don't want to play too much, because that's for next month.
To be fair, 2 minutes for Jason is high praise. That's like the amount of time for 4 wanks. And 6 for me, so, we're very old. But...
Speak for yourself.
That's not how I measure time. So, yeah, have any of you heard of NeuroVoider?
Well, me and Adam have, because we've played it and we've put a video up on the channel already.
Fair enough.
So, I'll just give it a quick thing of love the look, love the sound of it. It's a roguelite, so it's not for me. But other than that, it handled really nicely, and I really liked the visual and the sound on it.
Yeah, I'm echoing the same thing. Great little game, plays really well, love the graphics. And we literally released a video on it, so go and check it out. But it is available from January 1st to January 31st. It was first released on August 31st, 2016. The devs are Fly Oak Studios and produced by Plugin Digital.
I did like the music on the second level, at least. I remember thinking, I like that.
Yeah, I believe they actually got...
I didn't want to experience too much in the quick. It was just to see what it was, because I had no idea what the game was, and now I know. And I thought that's quite good music. I like that.
I believe they got a guy in to specially mix that as well.
A guy?
I seem to remember. I'm unsure of the name at this moment in time. Damn it! But yeah,
doesn't matter. Let's move on. Next game is Aground. It's a 2D mining and crafting survival RPG. It's apparently very deep. I don't know anything about it, but I'm hoping it sort of surprises us like Kingdom 2 Crowns did. Because on the face of it, could be the same sort of thing. It's like a 2D survival game where you craft stuff. It's a bit like that. And everything I've read seems to say it's quite deep and you can do quite a lot with it. But I haven't played it, so I don't know yet. I look forward to finding out.
Cool. Not my cup of tea. Gonna give it a miss.
Oh!
No, that's a touch harsh. It's one of those, it's on the crafty thing. It's the you find your own fun kind of thing, and that's just not my cup of tea. It looks quite nice. It sounds pretty cool, but it's not for me.
Fair enough. Adam?
Yeah, this one interests me. I quite like building games and stuff. It kind of reminds me of like a 2D version of Minecraft, I guess. But it looks like you can do a hell of a lot more. It looks like you can actually build a spaceship and leave the world entirely by looking at the trailer. So,
spoilers.
Yeah, looking forward to that. It's available from January 16th to February 15th. It was first released on Xbox on 11th of February 2021, so a fairly recent one. The devs are Fancy Fish Games and produced by Whitehorn Digital.
Ooh. The next game is Radiant Silvergun, which is a vertically scrolling shoot 'em up set in the 26th century, with lots of weapons, and you progress. And it's based on an old arcade game. I think you might like this, Shaun.
I've already played 20 minutes of it, mate.
Did you like it, Shaun? Or is that spoilers?
Oh, I did, but fuck me, is it hard. I'm not used to that kind of top-down shooter. I've not really played them since the 90s, because, I used to have a Commodore 64, so I used to play tons of them, and then they it was not a popular genre for the last 20 odd years. So coming back into it kicked the living death out of me many, many times. But I got up to about level 3, which I was quite pleased with because it's better than I normally do in these games. But yeah, it's pulse pounding, frantic fun. It's one of those things where right from the start, it's like this screen is going to be cut full of shit you need to avoid. Either deal with it or fuck off and play something else. Like, you can't say, oh, it's unfair, because right at the start it's going, here are 307 things to avoid. This is our game. Do what you will with that. So, yeah, I enjoyed my time with it. I will keep chipping away at it, because you do get better and better the more you play. It's just having the grit, the determination, and the fun to want to keep playing and playing and playing until you get the bastard down. Yeah, looks awesome, sounds awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, I really wanted to play this one, but I can't on my Xbox for that lovely reason of all the other ones. So I'm going to have to play this one downstairs on the family Xbox. So they're going to love me for that. But looks fun. I believe, didn't we play something like this last year, fairly recently? There was like
well,
a
if you look at the Xbox.com release page for this, it specifically says Ikaruga style shooting mode, and Ikaruga is the game we played.
There you go. I was right. Yeah, and that was a lot of fun, so I'm pretty sure I enjoyed this one. It's available from January 1st to January 15th. It was originally released May 1998, but on the Xbox it was 14th of September 2011. The devs are Treasure, also produced by Treasure.
Which brings us to Space Invaders Infinity Gene. There was a time in my life when I was only aware of 3 video games. It was Pong, Pac-Man, and Space Invaders. Anytime you went to any pub or cafe or anywhere with an arcade machine, Space Invaders would be in there. It was video games to me as a child. This is the game. And so this is the one I'm most excited for, or at least hoping I will find really good, because apparently it is the original game, but it's got 143 levels, and it keeps, you pick up genes as you go, and each level evolves and becomes more complex, and you get more moves, and there are bonus rounds and challenge modes, and there's a music round which you can play using your own music, I believe, so it adapts to that. So I'm quite excited to see what this does with a very old classic.
Yeah, I've heard good things about this game for years. Always wanted to play it, but it's been on that pile of, I don't really want to pay money for Space Invaders. But like, if this is to take a classic game and put a twist on it, if this is half as good as that Pac-Man Championship Edition, then I'm going to freaking love it. So yeah, really looking forward to this. My pick for the month. Really looking forward to this one.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I echo what you guys said. Really looking forward to this. Old classic. I used to play the old one. And yeah, I think everybody knows Space Invaders. But this one, as I say, it's got loads of different twists. It looks like it's on a bit of a different camera angle on the trailer, like a bit of a...
It varies.
It all changes as the game progresses.
Yeah, so
So the first level is traditional Space Invaders, and then things get increasingly weird.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, looking forward to that change. That'd be quite good. But this one is available from January 16th to January 31st. It was first released 2008, but on Xbox it was 15th of September 2010. Devs are Taito, also produced by Taito.
And that was the Games of Gold for January 2022.
So, what did we think of last month's Games of Gold?
Ooh.
I think we might as well start with the Escapists 2, as we made 2 videos with it. So, Jason, what do you think of the Escapists 2? Have you gone back to it?
I haven't gone back to it. I love the idea of it. I certainly see its appeal. I wasn't sure on the graphics to start with before I played it, but they won me over. It's a lot deeper than it first appears, and the only reason I'm not playing it is because I'd like to take my time with it, and my time has been elsewhere, with lots of games actually at the moment. So I might go back to it, certainly. I do like it, but I haven't played it since.
Fair enough. Well, Adam, what do you say?
I love Escapists. I think I echoed that in the other two videos. I've since been back to it. I've tried to escape the next level and did so on the first attempt, I might add. But the next level after that, I really struggled. I got caught 2 or 3 times. All my stuff stolen by the guards and starting again. And yeah, that sucks. But it's all part of the game, all part of the fun. And yeah, I really love that kind of game. So yeah, Escapist 2 is a big thumbs up for me.
Cool. For my part, I really enjoyed what we played for it. No. I really enjoyed what we played of it, but I wish it were a game on my phone. Which it might be. But I'm not going to sit and play it on an Xbox. It's too passive, maybe you should say. But I guess you could say the same about Kingdom Hearts. Something just doesn't click for me to want to sit and play it on my Xbox. But if it was on my phone, I could just tap away for 10 minutes and then come back to it the next day or something. I'd probably be much more inclined to play it. But I loved what I did play. It handles really nice. I like the way everything's set out. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it, but it's not a game to play on the big console for me.
See, I don't know. You describe it as being passive, whereas for me, the reason I didn't play it is because you have to do something. Because if you do nothing happens. You achieve nothing. You just sort of keep going around. In fact, you probably fail and get arrested or something because you're not bothering with it. So yeah, I respect your opinion, but my take on it is that it's something you have to sort of look into what crafts what and do things. I'm sure you can go and ask the guy and he can tell you what to do and stuff. But for me, it's because
Well, it tells you in the menu.
Well, I didn't look there, did I? So, but see, that's...
No, you didn't make shovels like I told you to.
I'm more passive than you are.
To be fair, if you look at the video carefully, to be fair to me and Jason, we completely ignored you.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. Well,
and we didn't even realise we'd done it.
Oh, I know. I realised I was doing it. We were just chatting about Christmas. I'm just there to make up the numbers. I'm not there to get out of jail.
I completely missed you say, guys, go make shovels. I was talking about something else.
I think you was eating your Christmas meals at the time.
I knew that I would be rubbish at that game without putting some time in before, and I didn't put any time in before, so I just sort of walked around, hit things, open drawers, because I thought you'd be getting on with the main stuff. And this is why I prefer to play those sort of games on my own, because people might be like me, just hang about. If it's me on my own, I've got to actually do it, and that's why I don't think this is passive. I think it takes all of my time. And it would be too small on my phone because my eyesight's awful. Anyway.
Fun little fact though, it did appear in 3 videos very recently.
Oh yeah. Sort of. If you can find that game.
Orcs Must Die.
Must they? That was fun. I did like that. It went straight into the action. It was very clear what you're supposed to do. Basically, I could understand this one. This is much more my level. It's a fun cartoony visuals. Things come at you. Stop them coming at you. There's a range of weapons and attackers, and it build up a tense situation if you get too far, and then you have to overcome it, or you just die. And if you do die, you just start all over again. So yeah, I can cope with that. I thought it was quite a fun game. I don't know how long I'll play it for, but yeah, I enjoyed what I played. Fun for all ages.
Adam, I think you really like this one.
Yeah. This was one of my picks actually for. I think was it the Games of Gold one, possibly. I can't remember.
Watch that video to find out.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it's echo exactly what Jason said. Really, it's the graphics are great. The feel of it is great. The way you put the traps down is like really nice, really easy. Really, it's not difficult at all. Yeah, and it's just like slaughtering loads of orcs and trying to figure out the best combination of traps and where to place yourself. But I'm really looking forward to is actually number 2 and 3 because they're multiplayer. So I'd like to get my hands on that, and perhaps all of us can have a go on that. But yeah, thumbs up.
Well, if we've looked at games with gold in the past, quite often the sequels do come in due course.
Orcs Must Die harder.
Orc hard with a vengeance.
Oh dear.
This was released in December. It was Christmas month when I got an Xbox Series X, so I've got to be honest with you, I didn't play it. I did the video with Adam. It looked quite cool, but I just haven't got around to playing it. I will chuck 5 minutes into it sooner or later to see if I get on with it, but I already know it's not necessarily the kind of thing I'm going to love, so yeah, I'm sure it was fine. I just didn't get a chance to play it. I'm circling around. I didn't play it. I'm not going to play it. I hate it. I hate everything about it. I hate everyone who made it.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I did play it on the Xbox Series X, and it plays very well on the Xbox Series X. You'd be surprised to find out. So,
right, quickly, Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet. Let's move on.
I enjoyed this. I haven't finished it, but I do have an urge to keep playing. I like the general feel of the flying and the shooting. It's quite easy to get a grasp of. Very gentle. Looks lovely. Like the other game, easy to pick up and understand. It's not super fast paced or anything. It's just about exploring and puzzle solving a little bit, which is what I wanted. So I'll probably go back. In fact, I will go back. I know I'm going to go back. There. Ha ha ha.
Adam?
I'm going to echo what you said, Shaun, on the last game. I haven't played this one. I just haven't had time. But I did make
you hate its very existence.
No, I did make the video. Yeah. I did make the video with you, and it looked pretty good from what I saw. I enjoyed your gameplay of what you showed. Yeah, I want to give it a go just to see how it plays, but I can't say too much more as I have not played it.
Fair enough. I am 70-75% of the way through it. It's really nice when you pause it and bring up the main menus. It actually tells you. I've put it on the back burner for the last week or so because I've not had a lot of time to play games, and now that I'm firing up the new Xbox Series X, so I don't really want to be playing Insanely Twisty Shadow Planet. It's my first game, but I will go back and complete. I've got probably another couple hours to beat it, so I'll pop back in and finish that. That was a really surprise hit with me. It's very sedate, and then you get to the bosses, which are significantly more intense. But I really, really like. That's definitely my pick of the month. Really, really liked that. And Tropico 5, the penultimate edition.
Oh,
Jason,
to quote you, not my cup of tea. Didn't play it.
Well, you still have until January the 15th.
I've downloaded it. It's there. It's been downloaded since the 16th of December. I have no doubt, if you like Tropico games, you'll probably like this. But I knew it wasn't going to be the type of game for me, and I wouldn't be able to give it a properly well-considered opinion because I wasn't going to play it for long enough to do it justice. So, sorry, downloaded it, didn't start it. Must try harder.
Oh, Adam.
I have played it.
What say
you?
Hey!
Thank God.
I like this game, but only after about half an hour worth of playing. Now,
I thought you was going to say specific time at night.
No.
Only after 10:30 in the evening.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of Gremlins.
Everyone's asleep. No, the reason I didn't is because I did the tutorial first. But even the tutorial, some parts of the tutorial are very simple. Other parts of the tutorial are extremely vague on how things work. So I'll just give you a little example. Jobs pop up and in the form of exclamation marks above certain buildings within your town. And you go over to those exclamation marks and you meant to select them and then go into them, and then it tells you like a little cutscene of a guy talking pops up, and then you do what they tell you to do or not and fail. So, but the whole bit of how to select the exclamation mark was extremely vague. It does not tell you at all. Well, it does in a very vague sense. It just says select. Go over to the exclamation mark and select it. With what? I was trying every single freaking button. I was I was accidentally firing people. I was almost destroying buildings. Just trying to select this goddamn exclamation mark.
You sound like me playing every game.
There was like 5 of them around me, and I'm like, surely I can select one of these goddamn exclamation marks. And then eventually, I pressed a button which I thought I pressed first of all, but I hadn't, and it selected it. And now I worked out why. It's because it's exactly the same button you use to back out of a menu to select the exclamation mark.
Oh, that's poor design.
And it confused the life out of me because I was like, no, that's the button to back out of a menu. It can't. And I selected, I was like, oh, you motherfucker. So I'm really swearing. It really frustrated me. But after that point, after I got through the tutorial, I thought, no, I'm going to give this the time of day because it is a building game and I do love building games. Once you get into it, yes, it really starts to flow. You really start to get into it. You really start to care about your tiny little town and trying to get it a country of its own. And you've got this like right idiot of an English gentleman telling you what to do for the crown, and you're like, no, I want to get away from you. And yeah, it's great. You got all these different characters popping up. I've got this dodgy character at the minute popping up saying, "Oh, come over to our side. Leave the crown and come over to our side. We give you loads of money." And I'm like, I'm not sure. So yeah, it is a great game once you figure the damn game out. It may take a bit. Maybe I'm just being stupid and you got on with the tutorial really, really easily. But for me, it was very vague. But yeah.
How about you, Shaun? Did you get on with it well?
Well, similarly to Adam, I didn't play it. I just didn't have time. Sorry. I played Tropico 4. It's not the kind of game that I'm ever going to invest into because it's not really my cup of tea. And again, December, I just did not have time to play it. Oh, maybe I'll play it before January 15th. Maybe I won't.
You can download it and play it any time in the future, you know. You don't have to play it before that day. It's not like Adam says,
it is only relevant between those dates. Alright, so that was January and then December's games with gold.
Nice.
So what else you guys have been playing?
Loads of stuff. I got a new Xbox Series X for Christmas. I bought myself and therefore downloaded lots of games, not just for that, but everything. I'll run through a few. I've played Lake, which I spoke about on the other year of review thing, so I won't talk about that now. I downloaded Firewatch, which I'm not going to talk about yet because I'm still relatively early on. It's a game I've wanted to play for years, and I think downloaded before actually, but never got around to.
Well, just on that, because like I sent Jason a message about it, and he's like, I've already downloaded it. He already knew about it. It's one of those games that it's not the kind of thing I would have found if I'd not started a Let's Play about it. And by the time I was absolutely invested in the Let's Play, it's like, well, I'd have to play like 2 hours to get to this point. I'll just watch the end of the fucking Let's Play. But I found that utterly engaging. I think you're in for a wonderful time, Jason.
I hope so too. I've avoided spoilers for years. I've heard little things which are like saying,
so no one's told you it's all about...
Shut up. But so all I know, I've played the main part of the game, as far as I'm aware, is a third-person guy on a Firewatch tower. The opening bit is just text-based, and that had me emotional enough and invested in the characters.
Yeah, right.
As I'm not going to go into it now because I'll probably talk about it in the future, but I've played probably the first few days in the main game, and so far I'm enjoying it. But I've had lots to play. So other things I've been playing are...
I just want to double check that. Are you playing it in third person?
It's a third person game. Sorry. I am misunderstanding what I'm talking about. It's a first person game.
Oh, I was going to say, because I remember they always say Skyrim is a third person game, but it looks like fucking shit if you don't play it in first person. Like, the character model and the way it moves is fucking terrible.
What I like to do is set up a camera behind my own head so I can sort of see myself playing it. I find that works best. I don't know terms. Yes, it's first person, which is not a game type I usually like. but I will allow it for this because it's a kind of, I don't mind story-driven, slow-paced things, and so far that's what it is. We'll see what happens later when the orcs attack. I don't know. I also played Control, which is another game that I've wanted to play for a long time, and it's been on Game Pass for quite a long time. I don't know if you know about that. That is a third-person game, which I know we always compare things to Assassin's Creed, but I'm going to use that as a reference point to get again. I see this as what I originally wanted the modern-day parts of Assassin's Creed to be. It's Control's basically the same way. There's no sort of assassinations as such. It's a bit mysterious. You basically, you're a woman who you don't know much about when she goes in. She's got an agenda for being there, but it's going to obviously unveil things as you go through it. She goes into this building, which I think is in New York, but it's sort of it's a massive, great grey building, which is hidden in a sort of mysterious way that unless you're looking for it, you'd never see it there. And then I think it's referred to as the oldest house, and it's the home of the Bureau of Control. And I think they describe it, I'm going to badly paraphrase this, as it's not bound by its physical dimensions, so it's a bit like a TARDIS, I suppose, and it can change about as things go around. But generally speaking, you're walking through an office building, starting off just exploring, then shooting things, then you find there's lots of people sort of possessed by a thing called the Hiss. I think actually your main character calls it the Hiss, and then other people just take that on board. And then before long you've got Jedi powers and stuff, and you're throwing things around and facing off against mysterious beings or whatever. So far, I'm enjoying it. So much so that I played about 15 minutes of it on the Game Pass version, and then went and bought the enhanced version for the Xbox One X. So nice. I thought, I'm invested now. I'm going to start again afresh in the new one and play through the rest of that.
This is going to sound really weird, but because a lot of it sounds like something I'd want to play, but the way it came out and the way it was pushed turned me off it.
Yeah.
Like, it was released for the release day of the new systems, and it was promoted as the game to launch these systems with, and the game that will show off what they can do and that. And I was just kind of like, nothing of this is saying it's a good actual game, though. It's just saying that it's like the first one ready for these new systems.
Yeah.
I think there was one called Medium that had a similar push. And it's just like that kind of put me off, because pretty much all these games are like that are pushed in that way are always massively disappointing. It's really weird. Until this generation, I've been a big proponent of buying consoles on day of release, even knowing that the likelihood is there's probably going to be 6 months to a year before there's anything worth playing on the bloody thing. But yeah, it's a really weird thing that nothing about the kind of game or anything. It all sounds like my cup of tea, like I would quite like it. But it's just the way it was promoted just really put me off, which is bizarre.
I seem to have avoided most of that. I remember this coming out, and if you're saying this is to push what it can do, I don't know if it... I wouldn't say it does. Going in not expecting anything, I'm very impressed and happy with it. But if someone told me this is what your new power can do, then I might go, it's just a woman walking around an office block throwing things around. It's not that spectacular to look at, I wouldn't say. It's pretty. You can zoom in on stuff quite well. There's lots of things to find. So if you go in expecting nothing, you might enjoy it. That's my way of doing every game, really. If you go in with really low expectations, you're probably going to enjoy it. There was a game, I don't know what it was, so I'm going to gloss over it, but I recommended to you recently, Shaun, and then because I told you it was good, I felt, you probably won't enjoy it now because you go in and think it's going to be good. It's not that good. It's good enough. Anyway, so that's that game. I've played a few other games. I just mentioned I played a bit more of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I also played the beginning of Assassin's Creed Valhalla because I bought that. Yeah, because it plays a lot. There was a sale on the other day, so I bought loads of stuff. I have played Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey, which is also by Ubisoft, which is about primates and the evolution of that, which I'm more interested in the overall theme of it than I am the actual gameplay at the moment. It's very slow to go through. Maybe my interest in the subject might carry me through further. And then, oddly enough, I started playing LA Noire on the 360 again the other day. and I was trying to get my save over to the Xbox, both the new Xboxes, and it wouldn't work. And that was on sale, so I downloaded that as well again and started playing that and quite enjoyed it. And the final game I've been playing is not really a game. It's the Matrix Awakens, which is the tech demo for Unreal Engine 5. And that is, that's pretty good. So that, if you haven't seen that, you basically get start off with a Keanu Reeves cutscene, and that sort of easily transitions into a on-rails shooting scene from a car, which you take over the controls at that point, and then it just drops you in an open world, which looks really good. And you can sort of walk around, you can drive vehicles, you can... it says fly a drone, but it just means you go in a first-person camera and can go up to any height. But the main thing about it, because it's just basically... There's not much to do there other than there's like 10 plaques around the city that you can find, but you don't get anything for doing that. There's no achievements or anything. The main fun just comes from sort of testing this new technology and seeing what it can do. And you can play with a lot of the like file sliders. I suppose like it's in a computer game or something. You can change different settings, and like you can turn all your pedestrians on and off and your vehicles on and off, and however many things you want up, and the weather. You can move the sun around. You can turn. So when I first started playing it, I started thinking, this is like quite realistic graphics. It looks really good. And then I saw a setting called Matrix Filter. Turn that off, and it goes even more realistic, because the Matrix Filter is that sort of greeny, grey texture that the Matrix films have. So it looks like that sort of film stock to start with, but you turn that off and you go back to pretty much what I would call naturalistic colours, and I found that even better looking. So, and that's just trying to break the game really and see what it can do, because you first look at it and you go, this is really realistic, and then you start zooming in on things again. Pixels, found you. So it was good. It was a good fun game. I played with that. I enjoyed it.
That sounds really cool, and may come back to what I've been watching. But Adam, what have you been playing, mate?
I'm intrigued.
Apart from the normal, which everyone expects me to play, which is Assassin's Creed, and of course I have been playing Assassin's Creed. My OCD going mad because I've got the new Valhalla game sitting there and really want to play it. So trying to complete all the little side missions and other little missions and all that. But I have gone a bit Lego mad. So I've had all these Lego games downloaded on my Xbox for absolutely ages, and I thought, do you know what? I love the Lego games. I'm going to sit and play the Lego games. So I've played Indiana Jones, the original adventure. I've played Batman 2, DC Superheroes, and I've gone back to The Hobbit.
Did you make sure to immediately unlock Kill 'Em Off and play it with Kill 'Em Off? I'll be very disappointed if the answer is no.
To be honest, I haven't yet, but I haven't got that far into it just yet. So, but I'm playing The Hobbit as well. So yeah, I've been playing all through those. They're Lego games. Everyone knows what Lego games are. Great fun, destroying everything, playing through all the stories. Out of all of them so far, I've gone through Indiana Jones the most, and I'm quite enjoying the storyline to that. But I've gone back. So on my time off, I do like to go back on games that I stopped or that I just didn't play. I downloaded and I didn't play, or any of those reasons. And I just go back through. And there was a game that caught my eye that I downloaded ages ago, and it's called Shiftlings. Do you know it?
I don't know that.
So Shiftlings is basically a 2-dimensional platform puzzler. You play as 2 characters that are attached by an air hose, and you've got to work your way across the galaxy, basically repairing stuff. I think there's like 50 odd levels, something like that. And as you go through, you can switch between the 2 characters in single player mode. There is a multiplayer mode, and you can choose which character to be. And it's really colourful. You know, it's not too intense. It's quite laid back in terms of depth, but yes, it's a great little game, and I've started playing that again. So yeah.
Oh, cool! I've not heard of that one. Is that on Game Pass, or is it something you bought, or something you got on disc? Or
this is how long ago it was. I got this just
on the Acorn Electron.
Just before John asked me to join him in this channel adventure. So that's how long it's been sitting there, and I've finally gone
and for the audience, as our 100th subspecial isn't out yet, so they don't know the time frame on that. It's what, 2017, 2016?
Actually, yeah, me and Jason was talking about this earlier. Didn't you say February, Jay? Was it February?
The first video went up in February 2017.
So it's probably a year before that, 2016. Yeah. But, yeah, so Shiftlings. Look it up. Good game.
Nice.
The initial release, actually, if you're interested, was 3rd of March 2015. There you go.
Oh.
It was basically fresh and new.
Yeah, it's a great little game. It's like really colourful. As I say, it's not too in depth. It's basically a platformer, puzzler platformer, and it's great. It's a great little game. It's got that little quirky mechanic where you've got to switch between the two characters, and yes, it's good. It's a good little game.
I'll check it out.
Shaun, what have you been playing?
I have been delving into a world I rarely delve into. The realm of so-called AAA gaming. I don't know if it's come up particularly on this channel or on the cast, but I'm something of a Sonic fan. Before you throw your Shadows the Hedgehogs, your Sonic 06 and shit at me, I've not played those games. I don't fucking care if they're shit. I've played about 9, 12 Sonic games, and they've all been really good, and that's what I care about. So I got the Series X enhanced version of Sonic Colors, because I've always heard that's pretty good, and yeah, it's pretty good. I literally completed it yesterday. It took me about 8 or 9 hours, but I enjoyed it. It was really fun. I like the colors, I like the momentum, I like the speed. I like Sonic and Eggman's characters, so yeah, that was pretty cool. And all of today I've been playing Square Enix's Guardians of the Galaxy, which, now I'm not going to say I'm not enjoying it, but it is literally endemic of the reason I don't play AAA games very much. Like, so the writing is incredible. The graphics at the start are incredible. But it's just, I get nothing out of playing this game. The puzzling and exploration is minimal. It feels more linear than the original Mass Effect, because it's aping Mass Effect style, with a little bit of the Mass Effect Andromeda thrown in. But like, as good, the writing is fantastic, but there's so little game to it that it's all spectacle. It's all in this writing, and it's all in this. Again, at the start, the graphics are a lot more impressive than later on. Then the glitches and the lack of polish really start to shine, because it's a AAA game. They get lazy we all know games get lazier the longer you play them, like the further into them you get, because most people don't complete games. But yeah, it's just like the gameplay is so minimal and so easy, and it's so regimented. It's just, this is the bit where you walk around corridors for a bit, and slightly round the edge of one of them there's something to pick up, and slightly round somewhere else. And then you get, one of the things I really don't like about games is it blocks you from going back. If you just think you've missed something, you just want to nip round a corner again. And it is a game about character, and it is a game about the writing, and that's all fine. I mean, genuinely, the biggest compliment I can give it is it genuinely feels like a movie. Like, it is the quality of the writing and everything. It does feel like being in a movie, but with all that entails of, you're normally fighting either a wave of 1/2 enemies, or you're facing one enemy for the first time, then a wave of them. And it's just, the combat is so incredibly shallow and boring. Even though you've got 5 characters to power up and use various things, you don't need to at all. And I chucked it on hard at the hardest difficulties I tend to do, and it's just, I'm just walking like the fights are getting in the way of me having fun. It's just so monotonous. And the walking around, if these characters were early in the game, I was kind of annoyed by it because they just yammer on fucking constantly. But if they weren't doing it, this game would be boring as fuck. Because it's just small, very pretty. So where I say it's very pretty at the start and it loses it later on. The environments are very pretty for the most part. The skyboxes are quite nice and it looks massive, which is great. The scope is enormous. But then you've got the cutscenes, and the first cutscenes are absolutely mind-boggling. And the further you get into it, obviously the less care is taken. Things glitch, things get a bit weird, things aren't paid so much attention to the point that I was crossing this endless bridge and you're only focusing on two characters. It's all in graphics engine, but the non-playable character, Groot's walking alongside you and he's kind of jerking and juddering along. And I'm holding the guy at full speed, so that is how the game is supposed to perform. I'm just holding right, he's moving right, the other character, and it's still glitching. I'm just sitting there just going, tut, tut, tut. You didn't think people would get this far. And I don't think I'm that far in it. I'd really like to think I'm not that far. I've only been playing it for about 4 hours, so if I'm halfway through, I'm going to be pretty fucking disappointed. One of the things that does interest me is there's quite a lot of things I've been able to do that don't seem to have had a lot of effect on anything. So there are I have noticed a few different routes you can take. Whether they all wind back to where you would have been, and I've just cut off a little secret here that I would have had to backtrack anyway, I don't know. But it does feel like there's a really big story, and it does feel it almost feels a little bit like a one of the old Telltale games, X Will Remember That. And I'm interested to see if that has any consequence, and if so, playing a different way with the characters would actually, in anything other than a superficial way, change a second playthrough. But, if this didn't have the Guardians of the Galaxy license, A, I wouldn't have played it to begin with, and B, I probably wouldn't like it because I wouldn't already have a connection to the characters. It's based on a comic book things being my deal. So I'd just be like, this is an incredibly mediocre game. So yeah, sometimes I do like to dip my toe back into the big franchise kind of, it's not that I don't play big release games. Like I said, I play the occasional Sonic game, but I tend to avoid the ones that aren't niche. This is a catch-all game, this is an Assassin's Creed, this is a Halo.
Yeah.
And these games just do nothing for me because they're not very good. It's not that they're not very good. That's not the right way to look at it. They are trying to capture as many people to play as possible across the broadest possible fan base. So they want a 10-year-old, they want a 50-year-old to be able to play it, and everyone in between. And that's, you'll hear me talk about it in my TV, in my music, in my movies and everything. That doesn't interest me because normally what you have is something incredibly bland and mediocre. Even with all the production values in the world, it ain't something that's going to keep my attention. But I got it for 30 quid 2 weeks after release, so I don't mind that. That's not a bad amount of money to pay for a game that despite my critique, I am quite enjoying. But I will then not play another game like this for 5 years.
Fair enough.
Nice.
And that's what I've been doing. I've loaded a load of games onto my Series X from Game Pass to play. I recently got the Batman Return to Arkham games, which has got Batman, Arkham Asylum and Arkham City.
Yeah. Because
I've not played... Because of the amount of time I have to game, I don't tend to go back and replay games very often.
Yeah.
So when I played Arkham Asylum, I loved it, so I played through it 3 times. First one just on normal difficulty, because I expected to hate that game. Just a little aside, there aren't that many great Batman games. And the thing that really stung me with this one was that it was a story about Games Master magazine, and it got leaked that they gave it something like 98%, which is a ridiculously high score for any video game. That is practically perfect. And then it came out that the Warner Brothers Interactive, I guess, I don't think Rocksteady themselves would have done it, but the publishing company said, you can only have advanced code if you guarantee it's 90% or higher. Well, how can you possibly believe any review?
Yeah.
When that's on the table, you know what I mean? So I actually didn't play that till about 6 months, a year after it was released, because I assumed it was shit if they were literally trying to buy high reviews. And that's an incredible game. So I played it. I put it on the hardest difficulty. I played it. I tried to achievement whore one last time. And I haven't played it since. I then did the same with the second and the third, because the third is really good. People who don't like it, you're wrong. It's probably the best written one. And then 4, which I think is the weakest of the 4 anyway. I just played that once on hard mode. So I'm going to go through that quadrilogy again this year, which would be nice, just in time for Gotham Knights, which is not in the same continuity, even though the setup seems to be based on it. And later Suicide Squad. Yeah. So that'll be nice.
Do we know when they're coming out?
That'll be... No, I still don't know. Yeah. Like I say, those will be my dips into AAA this year. Rocksteady Games are making the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. They made the Batman Arkham games, and the Batman Arkham games are really, really rock solid games. I find it's really cool because they've got their formula. Spider-Man nicked it. Spider-Man's also really good. But I feel that those games got the open world in a slightly... They took from Assassin's Creed, but without the limitations that come with Assassin's Creed and all the bollocks of taking you out of it and then you being in the future and nonsense like that. But I think one of the big things about it is the Riddler trophies are just better than we've got coloured things hidden around the map. You've actually got to find them and then figure out how to obtain them.
Yeah, I remember doing that a lot with the first game.
I found more interesting. I've done it with all of them. I've 100%ed the Riddler trophies in all 4 games because I love that shit. But yeah, that was a bit more rambly than I thought. I'm really tired. It's been a long couple of weeks.
You can have a bat nap in a minute. You're fine.
I've been doing so much Christmas stuff that I'm not 100% with it. So yeah, gaming. I love gaming. More gaming.
What about things which aren't games?
Yeah, have you been watching anything, guys?
I saw 2 films towards the end of last year, which is like half of a year's worth for me. So that's pretty good going. I've been looking for this film for like a year to appear on any sort of free channel, and I couldn't find it. And then it just appeared. I think it was on Disney, and it was The Princess Bride, which I've been saying forever on here.
What?
Yeah, I've never seen it, and it's something.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, of course you haven't, have you?
And I mentioned, and so since we last talked about it, I've been constantly checking on the various Netflix, Disney, Amazon, all the others that are free to see can I watch it for free. Well, not for free because I pay for it, but you know what I mean. I don't want to pay extra.
Yeah.
So it might have appeared on Amazon or something, but I'm not paying an extra £2 or something. So so it was free on, I think it was Disney, and I thought I'm going to watch that this evening, and I enjoyed that. I think the first 2 minutes I was like, I don't know what the fuss is about, but then soon got into
the first 2 minutes.
Sorry, I couldn't watch the last 2 minutes to start with and start making my judgment on that, could I? So I start at the beginning, watch it through. Well, no, it's like a simple film, which I knew I was going to like it, but it's talked up quite a lot in certain circles. And obviously the problem with classics people enjoy a lot and keep going about, particularly from their childhood, don't always live up to it. And I did enjoy it and had a lot of fun watching it. And yeah, very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's the level of craft and the level of charm that all the actors bring to it and the wit of the script that makes it.
I liked all the characters.
Yeah.
Like the random celebrities that I wasn't expecting just popping up.
Yeah, because it's like Rob Reiner or someone, right? It's like one of these people everyone wants to work with.
Yeah. And I'm watching and I go, oh, there's Mel Smith. There's Billy Crystal. There's... in full makeup as well. So it took me a minute to go, whose voice is that? I know that voice. Oh, it's Billy Crystal. Yes. Very enjoyable film. And then after that, I watched another film, which I have been wanting to watch for a long time, but basically didn't want to pay for. You're getting a theme here with me, aren't you? I pay for these 3 things. I'm not going to pay extra on top of this, which was Jojo Rabbit has finally become free on the channels.
Oh,
and
rock on. Love that film.
Yeah, that's another one I've been looking at sort of every couple of weeks or every month or so to see if it's coming up. No, now it's available to watch. And I thoroughly enjoyed that as well. That was really good. Would watch again. Have you seen it, Adam?
I have not. I'll have to look that one up.
Not one for your kids.
Oh, right. I'm with you.
What are you talking about? It's got child actors in it.
It's quite a charmful name. It is about Nazis.
Fair enough.
From a child's point of view.
I'll wait till the kids go to bed. But no, yes. That's very clear, Adam. Yes, I've been watching the next season of Cobra Kai.
I've still not watched that, and I really think I would like it. I keep meaning to get around to it. The first couple of seasons I really, really enjoyed. I really, really did. But this latest season, I struggled. I did. And it's for one reason. So in all the other ones, they've got the balance of the whole underdogs. Everyone knows what Karate Kid is. It's the whole underdog story. Well, this story kind of goes a lot into the background of Danny Russo and the other guy. I can't remember the name right now. But yeah, the Cobra Kai the Vane
dojo. Johnny Lawrence, that's it. Got it. So yeah, between those two, it goes really into the background of those two. And that's quite good. It brings another dimension to it, and they've got their lives now, or I won't spoil it for you, but Johnny hasn't as such, and the whole underdog bit starts up from there, and it's quite good, and all the seasons sort of end on something quite explosive. But this season, they really, really went heavy on the whole bullying aspect to the school life of their kids, and whereas other series and films they'll do that to you, but then they'll give you they'll give the watcher a little bit of hope, a little bit of a win for the good guy type thing if you're going down that type of movie or series. But this doesn't give you any of that, none of it, right up to the very final episode. And even in the final episode, you only get about 50% of what you want. And so then
is that not a bit refreshing though? Because the whole gag of Cobra Kai is that the bad guy from the first movie, who is just like a one-note villain because the movie had to have a villain.
Yeah.
It's like the whole show is his redemptive arc, right?
Yeah.
That the whole gag of this thing is that it's now God knows how many years later, and he's a loser who is starting his own school, and he's never got over the events of Karate Kid, and possibly Karate Kid 2. I don't know if it's the same villain in that one.
Yeah, basically. That is, you got it spot on. But for other people, that might be exactly what they're after, and it might be quite refreshing to watch. But for me, they tipped the balance the wrong way. They just went a bit too heavy for me on the whole bullying aspect. It left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, and it's a shame because I really like Cobra Kai, what they've done with it. I still am going to go and watch the next season. I believe they are still making it, and I will wait for that to release. But this last season's probably not my favourite. The first 2 seasons, though, are absolutely excellent. Absolutely loved it. Really, really good series.
So wait, what season have you just watched then? Have you just watched season 3?
I've just watched season 4, I believe it was. Season 4. Just double checking.
I swear this only just came out.
Yes, season 4. Yes, it's just come out. So I'm going to be waiting for.
Oh right, so 5. We are. thing. 'Cause I was just about to say, I thought there was you kept saying season 1 and 2 was great, and I'm like, have you just watched season 3? Because I'm pretty sure season 4 is on there.
No, I do apologise. I couldn't quite remember my numbers, but yes.
No, you're fine.
Just finished season 4. We finished that quite quickly. We basically binge watched it through Christmas, which was quite good. But yeah, season 5 I'll be looking forward to. But that's not all I've been watching. I've watched a film very recently that I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me about when I say my view upon it.
Controversial.
But Don't Look Up. So Don't Look Up is a film about 2 archaeologists who discover that a big, massive meteor is going to destroy the Earth.
I don't think they're archaeologists,
Yeah.
just to point out.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Not archaeologists.
Well, that would fit the title.
Astronomers?
Astronomers. I apologise. Yes, astronomers, not archaeologists. You idiot, Adam. Yes, astronomers. And it's the whole thing of no one's going to listen to them, and it's a big, massive dig at our current state of the world. So we're so wrapped up in our technology and our own little lives that when a massive meteor is going to come and kill us all, we're like, yeah, all right. We don't believe it. And it gives a massive dig at the leaders of the countries, especially America in general. There's a character who is clearly meant to be Donald Trump. There's other characters that you could probably recognise who are meant to be other characters in real life, and the whole film is set up to be really, really good, and people have been raving about it. It's been really high on people's lists. However, I have a completely different viewpoint. I was so and utterly disappointed by this film. My God, was I disappointed by this film. There's a type of comedy that I really, really don't get on with, and this film is just a beacon for that type of comedy. It's like, so the actors in it, I should tell you at this point, are Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Cate Blanchett, and Jonah Hill. And I normally like Jonah Hill. I think his comedy is quite good, but in this, he pushes, for me, and this is my opinion, I know it's not others, he pushes the limits of what's funny.
In what way?
So, people have been describing it as I believe the word is a satire.
Satire.
Satire, yeah. I don't really use those terms or anything like that, but that's what they've been describing it as.
It's definitely a satire. I have watched it.
Yeah, and I just find that whole type of comedy really, really cringy and really, they didn't just try and make a joke about that. And they touch on a lot of sensitive subjects, and they're meant to. That's the whole point of the undertone of the movie. But I think they touch on a few subjects that they really, really shouldn't touch on. And one of them actually was
like what?
Racism. They touch on racism quite a lot. And there's a point in it that that there's this character who is like a very old general, and they send him up into this rocket to save the world. It's a suicide mission. They have no need to send someone up in the rocket. They can do it all remotely. But they need a hero, so they send this guy up, and I won't tell you what happens, but during it, as launching happens, he goes on about racism and how it's all he's doing this for like the white people of the world, and the people with bow and arrows should be very thankful. And I know what they're going for, and I know the comedy angle they're going for, but for me, I just personally, I think it's a step too far, and there's no there's no... Like, I'm a very happy ending guy. Like, I love a happy ending. And I know that's not everyone's tastes. I get it. But for me, I love a happy ending. I love the good guy to win. And in this, no one wins. Like, nobody wins. And I sat there afterwards and I was like, what the fuck have I just sat through and watched? I'm not going to get those like 2.5 hours or whatever it is back. Like, and I looked at my wife, like, expecting her to like disagree with me completely, and she completely agreed with me. Like, and she loves this type of movie, but yeah, she was like, that was crap. I do not know what the critics were raving about. So for me, really bad movie, really, really bad movie. But I will say this: the actors in it, fantastic. Like, their acting ability should not be downcast, because I hate the film. I hate the film because of where they led the storyline and where they led the comedy to. And that was largely, from what I've read, down to the director's choice. But the actors, like Leonardo DiCaprio, A-class. Like Jennifer Lawrence, really, really good. Jonah Hill, even though I didn't like where his comedy went, really, really good. Played the part perfectly. Their acting, yeah, not to be dismissed by my review.
It'll be all right.
But yes, so Don't Look Up. Really don't like it.
If I may interject.
Yes, please.
After Adam finished watching it, basically I've heard of this film, but not really anything about it. Didn't know anyone raving about it. It was just something that appeared on Netflix about a week or so ago for me. On my Netflix is a picture of Jonah Hill's face. That's the advert. Yep. But I know different people have different thumbnails, so whatever. Hadn't bothered to watch it. Thought I'm not really interested. Then I get a message from Adam, basically saying what he just said. Quite sweary. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. I don't get it.
Oh, I might interject there. That message was meant to go on Iron Dinos. It was only afterwards I realised I just sent it to Jason.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, carry
on. So obviously the next day I watched it, clearly, because I thought, what's he raving about? So 2 things. Earlier I said about low expectations, and also I probably watched it through the veil of what's Adam's problem with this film. No, it's not the greatest film ever made, but I didn't have a major issue with it. So I was trying to work out for a lot of it, what was your issue? Because certainly there is a bit of an imbalance in where the comedy line is, because sometimes it's very almost super realistic, played straight. Sometimes it's that sort of Eternal Sunshine style of comedy where it's not, there's funny elements in there, but it's sort of black, dark humour. And then occasionally you'll get, particularly with the Jonah Hill character, quite childish, more cartoony humour come out of him. And also a couple of times Jennifer Lawrence does that as well. But the majority of times I was quite happy with the level it was. Once you sort of settled into it, it was fine. I really didn't like the opening titles, which, to be fair, come in probably about 20 minutes into it, because they just go super cartoony, over the top and crazy and fun, which might be that kind of Always Sunny kind of, it's playing against the dark thing that happened before it, but it didn't really work like that for me. But generally speaking, it's fine. I knew exactly where the film was going to go when it started, so it wasn't as if it went anywhere I didn't expect it to. It's very clearly talking about what's in the news. Oh yeah, there's something affecting all humans at the moment. Wonder that could be in real life.
Yeah.
It's how does social media and politicians and all the newscasts, how do they take it? And all they've got, so you've got the different newscasts taking different stances on it. You've got people denying it. The title comes from Don't Look Up. There's a movement halfway through it. Basically, we refuse to look up because they're lying to us. That's basically where it comes from. And so you've got half of America.
It sounds very American.
And it's it's sort of saying the polarising political side of it, and that people aren't really interested in the truth. It's more about what side you're already on when it starts. So it's the denial thing.
Yeah.
So I felt...
Yeah. So they've literally just taken American politics and COVID.
It's not subtle by any means.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's very to the point.
But generally speaking, I was more accepting of it than Adam was, yeah.
So to the point, actually, if I can interject, there's a point in it, so much to the point that the bit that happened with Donald Trump and when they had the whole he's lying to us. That kind of thing, realization. There's even that in it. And it's just, it really does point the finger at modern society, especially America.
I think you very clearly, and I've since seen some talk about it. What's the word? The synopsis. Oh, by the way, I looked up the synopsis on Netflix. It does not mention comedy anywhere in that. It's a sci-fi social commentary.
It's a comedy disaster.
Well, my Netflix is not. It's not advertising it to me that way. It's not got the word comedy anywhere in my Netflix.
Well, it doesn't matter which sources you're reading are going to be different.
I know, but if you go into it expecting Police Academy, then it ain't that. I would say it's not the most amazing film I've ever seen, but going into it thinking Adam detests this, it was better than I expected. And I will clarify, it's the best film I've seen all year.
No, it isn't.
It is the only film I've seen all year, yes.
Oh, that's fine then. Well, between you've convinced me to watch it, but part of it is I've just looked at the writer, director, producer, Adam McKay's filmography, and while I do find it very hit and miss, he did do Vice in 2018, which I really liked. It was Christian Bale as Dick Cheney.
Oh.
It was like it was almost like a biopic, but it was also a black comedy. It was really, really good movie. Very clever. And Christian Bale was unbelievable in it. So I'm going to watch it and try and come down somewhere between the two of you. So it's not the worst movie. Like, this is the highest rating Jason gives to anything, which is,
that's
not true.
I liked it. So that's obviously the best thing he's ever seen. So I'm going to come down in the middle again. That's right.
No. I gave a baseline of Adam hates it, and I knew it was better than that. But I did watch it, basically trying to work out what is his issue with it. And I've got to say, the racism side of it, I didn't really pick up on because I just took it as that's that one character. They keep referring to the fact that it's not correct what he's saying, and he's from a different time.
Oh no,
I didn't really pick up on any other aspects of the film other than that one character who's not really in it a lot. That character.
No, he's not. But it does take a dig at it's meant to take a dig at the older generation and tar them all with the same brush, and I think that's extremely wrong. They're not. That's the wrong thing to
I didn't take it that way. I didn't see him as representative of every old person by any means. I saw him as a very specific character in his own right.
It's what they actually say in the movie. They say, "Oh, he's the older generation." They actually say
he's from a different time.
And, so it's just like, oh, that's too much for me. I do get. Everyone's been raving about this, and loads of people are going to be against me on this. But for me,
Well, to be fair, just looking at Rotten Tomatoes, on Wikipedia, the Rotten Tomatoes score is 56% from critics. Now, I think that's Rotten Tomatoes is normally a bollocks anyway, but that's pretty fucking mixed right off the bat there. Same with Metacritic. Metacritic is 50 out of 100, so I don't think anyone's singing its greatest praises. I think a lot of people are going, that's all right.
That's why I went into it.
Yeah, it's... I was really disappointed. Because when you look at the calibre of actors in it, it's just like, oh, wow.
Oh, that does't mean anything. Look at the first Star Wars movie. Most of the actors in that are shit. It's still a wonderful film. Mark Hamill could not fucking act in that first one, and Carrie Fisher weren't much better, and they were two of the leads.
I will say, you mentioned the editor or the director or whatever, and it's kind of his fault.
Adam. Yeah.
I kind of agree, because
writer, director,
some of it came across as if they've basically said to
Yeah.
these actors, say this line, right, now say it again, like with more humour. Now say it again with more, like, dead straight. Now say it again with, like, a light humour. And they've just randomly edited different ones in throughout the film as they felt like it. Because there are it's not as, like, well, I mentioned, what was it, what was that Christmas film I said the other week that had lots of tonal changes? It's not quite as abrupt as that, but there are... Krampus, that was it. Which I was fine with, but they're very abrupt changes. Whereas this film, is your sort of suddenly you'll have someone's playing it for laughs, and other times it seems to play dead straight. And I usually quite like a black comedy, or a light comedy, or a dramedy, or whatever you call it. That's my kind of thing I like watching. And I did find this sort of didn't quite walk the line evenly. It sometimes sort of jump from one to the other. I wouldn't watch it again, but it was fine to watch the first time, particularly thinking it was going to be the worst thing ever in the world. So if you go in like that, you'll be fine. I'd give it 56%.
You might think it's all right. Yeah.
And the racist guy, I believe, was Ron Perlman.
Oh, I really hate to say it. I will probably love that then, because I love Ron Perlman, and I think the dude is hilarious. I hope it's played somewhat for laughs.
There is a lot of stars in it.
There is a lot of stars in it, yeah.
There's a lot of stars.
I won't agree with the racism. Let's just be very clear on that. I won't be like, oh, Ron Perlman's saying it. Oh, I'm a racist now, I guess. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, I'll enjoy the performance.
Did you see any films?
I have. Since we haven't had a chance to speak about it since the last Dinocast, I have seen the new Spider-Man movie twice.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say that is a great movie if you're already invested in all of the movie Spider-Man.
Okay.
As a movie unto itself, so outside of and I'm not going to spoil it, but from the trailer you can see Doc Ock is in there, the original Green Goblin, Sandman. Yep. If you take that stuff out, there is the bare bones of quite a good story, but it is nothing without those previous movies existing. You couldn't have just had... you couldn't have done what this movie did, recasting Doc Ock and the Green Goblin.
Okay.
And it wouldn't have worked as well. There is a reason they used Norman Osborn's Green Goblin and not Dane DeHaan's. This is... And they've done an incredible job. It's not just nostalgia bait. They've made a really fantastic story around this, especially around some of the characters they bring in that you expect to be one thing and actually is very different. There are characters you don't expect to have really quite detailed story arcs come through. It's very, very, for what it is, it's very, very well written. But I don't I went to see it with Mark, my buddy, who's not a big Spider-Man fan and is less enthused about the movies than I don't even know if he ever saw Amazing Spider-Man 2, the worst one. But that's where Electro comes from. He's in the trailer. But he finished it and goes, yeah, it's fun. And I'm finishing it and going, oh my god, the fan service. Oh, this is great. Still not the best Spider-Man movie, because that would be Into the Spider-Verse, then Spider-Man 2, then this, but it's really fucking good. And Peter's arc in it, so this is going to be a bit spoilery, but fuck it, the movie's been out for weeks now, and it's not going to spoil the plot, but by the end, he's fucking Spider-Man. That is what I've hated about Tom Holland's movies. I know it's a new Spider-Man for a younger audience and everything, blah, blah, blah. I don't care, he's not fucking Spider-Man in the other movies. Spider-Man is not Tony Stark Jr. Spider-Man is not looking up to other heroes for approval. He was fucking around before Iron Man and the like. Spider-Man is the kid, has the tragedy, goes off, and tries to do good. Quite often his personal life will suffer because of it. I don't like when they lean too hard into that. I don't like my Spider-Man to come across as a loser, but he does have a bit of a hard time. And by the end of it, he is fucking Spider-Man, and I cannot wait for Tom Holland's next Spidey movie. Ooh. Because it's going to be awesome.
It's high praise indeed.
But that's not the main...
Very high.
Oh, yeah. It's like I say, it's not going to be hard. All you've got to do is make a competent Spider-Man movie, and I'm going to have a good time. I like the first Amazing Spider-Man, and I can understand why most people are like, yeah, but it's really boring and crap. I'm like, yeah, but they did the lizard, and that's kind of really dumb but cool and quite Spider-Man-y. I liked Andrew Garfield in that, so, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is irredeemable though. But yeah, that was quite cool. But the thing I've maybe got more to talk about is something I watched on New Year's Eve, and that is The Matrix Resurrections. A movie I was both really looking forward to and dreading, and boy, was I both right in both cases. It's so interesting to see a movie get everything right that the earlier movies got right and also wrong. Like, to the point that I really enjoyed watching it, but there were parts of it where I was sitting there just going, why are you doing this? You know this is the thing everyone hated before, and you're doing it exactly the same, and it's not working. It was... I don't want to spoil what it is, because that's a large part of the appeal. You don't know what is going on. Like, the trailer is very clearly not giving much away, so I don't want to just come and out that. But, like, if you've got a big nostalgia for the original Matrix movies, you'll probably get a lot out of it, but you're gonna be as frustrated as you were coming out of the Matrix Revolutions, because it still trips and so. The first hour is largely perfect. Also, I don't know if this was a budgeting thing. They kind of fudged the lines a bit as to why Morpheus isn't Lawrence Fishburne and Agent Smith isn't Viggo Mortensen.
Is it?
But because they got Keanu and Carrie-Anne Moss back, the whole thing kind of doesn't work, because even though they do a thing to say actually they would have been different, they would have looked different as well, it doesn't matter, because you're still seeing Keanu and Carrie-Anne Moss and not Lawrence Fishburne and not Viggo Mortensen, so it doesn't work in that regard, like, really noticeably, regardless of how they try to fudge it. And I couldn't get, like, conceptually, it made me aware I was watching a movie at that point, because, like, I am quite good at getting lost in what I'm watching. Like, it doesn't, as long as I'm mildly interested, I'm drawn enough to kind of lose myself in the world, unless it starts going off the rails, getting really stupid or whatever. You know, I don't go and watch a movie to have a bad time, and I don't go and watch a movie to sit and pull it apart. That will just happen if I'm not having a good time, or if something takes me out of it. And that, having, like, I would say the original ones have 4 core members of cast. Having 2 of them and not the other 2 really broke my immersion in the movie and made me aware I was watching a movie rather than... or made me aware, in fact, more that I was watching a kind of return to a series after 15 years or whatever it is, rather than just sitting watching a movie, which was a real shame. It's an incredible part of the setup. Like, the first hour is exactly perfect, exactly what I wanted it to be. Right down to some very pointed lines saying, look, this was fucking happening. Like, you can moan and bitch that I came back and made more Matrix, but it was happening one way or the other, so at least I'm trying to give you good Matrix rather than just slapping the Matrix name on some fucking movie and pumping it out because they think they can make a couple of bucks off, you know, a new Matrix movie after 15 years. Like, there's a lot of very, very pointed fuck you at Warner Brothers in there, which I absolutely loved. And newcomer, like, I've been a fan of Neil Patrick Harris since I became, like, I was aware of him. I liked him in Starship Troopers. And then I saw a movie called Harold and Kumar Get the Munchies, where he plays this insane fucking version of himself. And then he came back for the sequel, both sequels actually, and he was hilarious in those. And then I saw How I Met Your Mother, and he was really funny in that. So I've been a fan of his for a long time, and I've seen him do serious acting in quite a few things. I know he's a good voice actor because I've heard him be Spider-Man in a couple of things. And they put him in a prominent point in this movie. He's in the trailers again. This isn't... If you're remotely interested, I'm not spoiling anything that's not in the trailer because I don't think it's fair to do so, really. But as much as I can without saying my piece on the movie. But they put him in quite an important position, and he really held his own well. It's nice to see, because, you know, you add someone to an ensemble cast, even if it's only half of it coming back, and you're kind of like, you can really feel like the new guy. And I don't think anyone necessarily stood out in that regard. But yeah, it's a fucking beautiful mess of a film.
Lovely.
If you're a Matrix fan, you'll probably get enough out of it to not hate that it happened, knowing that it was happening, whether you wanted it to or not. If you're new to the Matrix, don't. There's no point watching it. Just go watch the first movie and just pretend it ended. I really like the second Matrix movie. I think it's as good, if not better, than the first. But the third movie is terrible, and you can watch the first movie and not watch anything else. You can't really watch the second one without watching the third, because the second one it's Empire. It's intended to be Empire. You know, it is the big middle piece of the story. It doesn't resolve anything. It throws up lots more questions, shows you what the true face of the enemy is, all that kind of bollocks.
Oddly enough, I was about to say, I don't think I've seen the third one, and I'm not sure if I've seen the second one or not. I might have seen the second one. Definitely saw the first one.
Second one has that really iconic battle on the freeway.
Yeah, but I've seen so many clips of that. I might not have seen the actual film, but I've seen that.
Yeah.
I feel like I did see the film, but I might not have. Maybe that's just filling in those clips I've seen. Because The Matrix was huge for a while. Yeah, definitely really enjoyed the first one. Can't really remember the second or third. And I've played that game recently, which was good. Give it a go.
Yeah, I'll be playing that. So that was it, and I need to watch... other than that, I've been watching season 11 of Curb Your Enthusiasm. It is like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't understand how a show with such a narrow premise can have been going this long and still have maintained the incredible level of quality that it has. I think Curb Your Enthusiasm may be better every year. It's ridiculous that the situations he gets in on such a limited premise as well. It's him and his rich mates are kind of dicks, and Larry is the most neurotic man in the world, but Christ, I laugh and laugh and laugh every time I watch it. So yeah, I'm halfway through season 11, and so far it's been incredible. So that's it. I know, Jason, I still need to watch the Doctor Who New Year special, which I will at some point soon.
I don't see the link there, but well, I liked the New Year special of Doctor Who. I won't go into why, but I did say the previous show. I'm going to stop talking there. The previous run that comes on recently, I said that disappointed me. It probably had more spectacle and it set up more balls in the air, but this one caught all the balls it launched. Basically, it's a very straightforward story, which I found fine. The characters are fine, and it gets to the end, and you go, "Yeah, I was happy with that." So I'm happy if they do more of those.
I love your description.
Cool. Well, I think there are two more, and then everyone involved with this is being burned in a fire. I think that's the BBC's plan. Well, I think that's what the BBC planned to do, so blame them. I want it to continue. I've been a big fan, but there we are.
Unlucky 13.
Yeah. So any final business?
We need a word.
Well, I think the word should be, or phrase should be, don't look up, don't look up.
Oh.
See, because it's like
I got it.
Don't look up as in up, but don't look for it. And
Don't look up. Like it.
well, actually, we're going to have two. We're not going to have a fake one this time. If you dislike the movie, don't look up. Don't look up. If you like the movie, look up. Don't look up.
Oh,
there you go.
Genius.
We can get a little poll going. So far we've got Adam on Don't Look Up, Don't Look Up, and Jason on Look Up, Don't Look Up. Whose side do you fall on?
I mean, not to be annoying, but my side was basically
on the fence.
Don't worry about not looking up. Don't look up. Don't look up. You can do what you want. It's fine. I said it's not the greatest film ever made, but it's better than Adam thinks.
All right, so
look up, don't look up.
Don't Look Up, Don't Look Up, and Jason is the Denzel Washington movie Fences, because he's sitting on one as fucking usual. So Don't Look Up, Don't Look Up, and or Fences. There you go.
Take offence at that.
I guess we'll find out where Shaun falls.
That's far less clever. Yes, if I remember to watch it, because I am really bad at that sort of thing. I watched half of the new season of The Witcher. Loved it. Just forgot it existed out of nowhere.
Oh, well done.
And so I haven't watched the second half.
I finished that.
Like, it literally
Really
just
good.
came to me. I need to watch the rest of it.
I got a weird moment. I know we are bringing this to a close, but just to, hide that secret word a bit further in. There's about halfway through, I think the second or third episode, I started noticing the editing and the camera angles and the multiple cuts that weren't necessary, and that threw me out of it. But then back to the next episode, and I was in it again. So I don't know if I was just in a weird mood that day, or if there's a particularly dodgy editor on that one, but it just took me out of it for some reason. I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah. No, that's happened on me with shows on the occasion. Not with that one, but
yeah, overall, I like the series. I thoroughly encourage everyone to watch it from my fence.
All right, bye.
Bye then.